Is it showing now?
Yes, we can see.
Lovely. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Eloise Bonney. I'm the engagement manager at the Lowry for their Arts and Social Change programme. So full transparency, I've actually only been in this role in the permanent position for 3 weeks. So instead of talking about the projects that we've done, because I haven't been running the projects and there's a lot to choose from, instead I was going to try and talk about our approach to the work that we do, and how we basically try and get to social change through our approach instead of the specific projects that have been done in the past. Is it going to let me? There we go. So for anyone who doesn't know the Lowry, it's in Salford, which is a city in its own right, but it is under Greater Manchester. So a lot of people feel like it's just part of Manchester, but it's not. It's a city in its own right. And it has been historically a very deprived place and still is. And I think a lot of the funding, again, is overshadowed by Manchester a lot. But people that do know the Lowry will kind of recognise this side of the Lowry. It has 3 theatres and a gallery, and it is known for kind of big productions and holding L.S. Lowry, who's a painter, his art. But there's a whole other side to it. So we have a learning and engagement department. These are all the different strands of it. I'm not going to go into them because I don't have time. But we have, very typical things that other theatres might have. We do have youth talent. We do have office for families and for schools and things like that. But I'm going to dive in a little bit further into our targeted engagement, which is what the Arts and Social Change programme sits under. So the Arts and Social Change programme, this is a poster from a play called Who Cares, which is about young carers. And the Arts and Social Change programme has been running for a long time, and it's works with 4 specific groups. And these are who we've been working with for many years. That isn't going to be changing anytime soon, and it's not something that we do on a funding basis. That's like who we've decided to work with in Salford. So we work with young people or youth at risk of homelessness. We work with young carers, cared for children and young people or care leavers, and also young parents or young families, and also families that are facing barriers or living in poverty or are underserved in Salford. So obviously I'm not representing those groups as someone who comes from those groups. Like other people might have been making work specifically to do with their lived experiences. As I came into the role, these are the groups that Arts Social Change has already made that commitment to. So what does social change look like when we're working with them? So I wanted to kind of run through some of the things that we really try and commit to. So co-creation is a big one. Obviously, if we're working with these groups, and specifically because I'm not coming from those backgrounds, it definitely has to be their voice. And this kind of comes from the beginning. So we do consultation in every project that we do. I was doing some games nights with pizzas at some of our partner provisions, and just getting to know some of the residents that we work with at some of the supported accommodation for youth at risk of homelessness. And that's a really important part, I think, actually getting time to hear what they want to do, and also talk about different art forms. They might not be informed of making a podcast or doing a film or making a music video. There's so many options that we can do now, but not everyone's informed of what's open to them. So that's a big part of working out what the project's going to look like. And also artists and facilitators, so people like you guys who actually know what that looks like, and it's not asking their opinion one day and then making the decision over the week and then coming back and saying, oh, this is what we're going to do. So making sure that's right as well when we're looking at freelancers and people that kind of understand that work before they step into the room. We work with a lot of agencies in Salford. We have Tuesday evening sessions. We've got a visual art session and a drama session. And although we kind of call them open access, they are primarily for young carers or cared for children or young people. And quite a lot of our recruitment comes through referrals from agencies. So that might be an agency like Route 29 who look after people who are on the edge of care. So we're really trying to reach out to people or get connected with people who might not necessarily have usually stepped into the Lowry or a theatre in general, or kind of a bit like what Helen was talking about, might not want to step over that threshold. We can meet them outside of the Lowry. We can bring them into the Lowry before the sessions start. It's really about meeting them where they're at and working them up until a place to where they can step into the session and be part of that. And then over time, hopefully feeling like the Lowry is somewhere that they are part of and it's for them. and also reaching out to those people that might not necessarily, they might need more pastoral care or support, transport, for example, than a general youth theatre, which wouldn't offer that. So that's something that we really try and have a lot of pastoral wraparound as well from our sessions. We've got targeted projects for specific communities. So those evening sessions are a mixture of people from all different backgrounds. But a lot of our social change projects is about, obviously we do work with specific groups, and they may face similar, or I mean, obviously everyone's got their own story, but similar barriers that they might have come across. And really, what are those projects? What do they want to share? Is it, you know, do they want to advocate for something? Do they want to campaign for something? Do they simply want to help other people that might be in their situation? We've, for example, designed information pamphlets for people coming into a certain situation so they can get more information. And that's the young people turning around going, well, I didn't know this when I turned up, and I didn't know where to find this information, and I would have loved to have known it. So we can do that through creative arts, but, you know, sometimes it's not actually about the art form. We're just using that as a tool to share a message that is, that, you know, that they're passionate about or they feel like need sharing.
Okay, Eloise, I'm going to say that's 5 minutes. So if you can
Okay.
where you are,